What's up, guys? So today we're going to take a look at a new third-party transformer that I just got in the mail, and it is from DX9. And this is their War in Pocket series, so they're doing kind of Legends class series of things that, well, never really existed. So, or they're taking stuff they've done before and shrinking them down more or less to a Legends class size. And this is their legendary heroes in your pocket. Yay! Got some nice artwork here, who is obviously Grimlock. Got a great dinosaur head, glowing teeth, ready for fire to come through. Got a nice little robot image right there. And of course, this is their XTAL 22 Dino Commander Rager. Yay. It's a cool name, actually. I really do dig the name on that. So everybody has to come up with their own versions of the names of stuff. So Rager totally makes sense with Grimlock, because he gets pretty angry. Let's see, which way should we go? Let's go this way. So we come over here, and we've got that same shot of his 4 teeth there. War in Pocket, legendary heroes in your pocket, Dino Commander Rager. Come to the back, we got some really, really awesome artwork. I actually really do dig this. Nice, almost looks like watercolor kind of painting going on. Looks like a combination of Dinobot Island or something. So you've got the Dinobots fighting against the Constructicons, because they totally have a small version of the Constructicons, which, believe me, will probably be next. I'm going to throw those in my pile of loot as well. So you've got all the Dinobots. So you've got your Grimlock, your Snarl, your Sludge, your Swoop, and your Slag away up there. All are actually, I think these are all very similar scenes. I think they existed in the Heavy Metal War movie. Well, it wasn't a movie, but little episode. And yeah, guys, I have all of these on order. I've got Slag and Sludge already on the way, and then Swoop and Snarl already in the bag, just waiting for me to get more money. So we've got Dino mode right here. We got robot mode right here. We have what is clearly supposed to be stats. So I guess under normal circumstances, that would be intelligence. So strength, power, firepower, blah, blah, blah. Could be speed as well. Could be that small. So that's actually pretty neat. Come over here. You get a repeat of that. Come to the top. You get the same thing, but you get a really funny image of Grimlock sitting down, and of course the same version of his robot mode. And if we come to the bottom, you get all the warnings, all those things. You know, basically 3-year-olds, small parts, stuff like that. And you've got the little UPC there, ages 15 plus. Hey, I'm right in the middle of that. And you got the websites and stuff like that. Made in China, yay. So let's go ahead and open up the box real quick and check it out. Now, when you get it out of the actual box, you get this little kind of clamshell tray going on here. You've got the accessories all lined up. We'll look at those in a second. Guys, something weird, I guess, I don't know how this happened, but putting this back in the actual box really, really jacked it up. I have no idea what happened, but it also would kind of explain how or why the box itself gets a little bit bloated. But you get it in this nice little plastic prison here. He's chilling in there, usually in Dino mode, belly up in a really strange fashion. No idea why, but of course I don't want to show him off just yet, but you guys can see his accessories just hanging out in there. And you do get instructions on some nice poster kind of paper. And yeah, this is actually fairly intuitive. And I like it. You got War in Pocket, you got a little image of Wheeljack right there. And yeah, starts you out from Dino mode and gets you into robot mode by the end, and DX9 down there. Actually fairly, very good instructions. Now, if you're thinking that this guy's going to transform like a G1 Grimlock, you are absolutely wrong. He has some aspects that are very similar, but as we go through the transformation, you'll see that, yeah, he is not a G1 Grimlock by any means. Let's go ahead and pull him out here and see how cool he is. Alright, and here we have little Rager out of his box, and definitely is a Grimlock. This thing is actually very, very cool. Details are very, very nice. The paintwork is really good. We even get some die cast that hopefully is not chipping, because that would make me upset. So, all done up in a very nice silver or gray. Pretty sure this is painted. This is just raw plastic. So nice gray over most of his body. You've got some silver accents going on like right here. Obviously the tail is silver. You get the quintessential and classic multicolor little parts here, and nice silver going across there. You get the like backpack ridges going on right in there. He's got these nice, really kind of grayish long arms chilling out here. So unlike some Grimlocks that have like the short stubby arms, they actually give him like the big long ones actually mounted on a ball joint. That's actually pretty good. You even get great painted metallic blue eyes and metallic silver teeth. Now one thing you'll notice right off the bat, he doesn't have front teeth. I don't know why. The images on the box show he's got interlocking teeth, you know? I gotta have it right here. But he only has like these two bottom teeth, no top teeth. But you can see, like, it almost looks like maybe they got cut off. Or maybe that's just where the sprue ended. I'm not entirely certain, but, you know, it's weird. Now you get the yellow center section, as you always do, and this is die cast. It's actually really, really neat. You've got some clear gray plastic there. You got some yellow painting on the feet, which these are clearly silver paint, and then yellow painted on top. Doesn't quite match. Probably could have used another coat. It almost looks like green, but it's actually not bad, so I'll forgive it a little bit. Now, before we get too far, let's go ahead and bring out some comparisons. So, first and foremost, because he always loves meeting new robots, here's our buddy Wally. So you can see really how small this guy is. I mean, you guys have a rough idea how small Wally is, and that he's just barely twice as tall as Wally. Wally, this is a Grimlock that can actually kind of be your friend. So here, you can hold hands with your Grimlock friend here. There you go. Oh, that's definitely worth a picture. I'll probably recreate that in a little while, but yeah, that's actually really, really cute. Gotta love that. And of course, Wally could ride him if we try hard enough, because Wally likes to ride on other dinosaurs, like so. There, he'll actually hold a Wally on his back. That's just ridiculous. And because I still have it laying around, here's our original G1 Grimlock. And yeah, you guys can tell that this thing is even smaller than the OG G1 Grimlock. Now, just on a quick side note, guys, I watched this video explaining Diaclone and stuff like that and why things don't look the same for G1 toys and stuff like that. And yeah, but older fans know this more than I would. So I was asking when I did the review of this guy what this hatch was for. And that's because in Diaclone, they're not just autonomous robots, they're actually piloted. So this is actually the original pilot seat. And all of the Dinobots and stuff like that all existed in Diaclone. This is almost an exact replica, just added on Autobot logos for the most part. So that's why the Dinobots look the way they do here on the toys, and why they look different in the series, and why they have different gimmicks that you'll never see. Now, real quick, guys, I put this up on one Facebook group. You guys tell me in the comments down below, which one of these is more G1 Grimlock to you? Is it the G1 toy and how it looks, or is it the G1 aesthetic of the DX9, like the cartoon? This very much looks like the cartoon, even in my mind. So that's what they were going for, was a definite kind of G1 cartoon feel. Why is my camera going crazy on the focus? So yeah, just let me know in the comments down below which one you think is technically closer to a G1 Grimlock. Is it the toy, or is it the toy look, or is it the cartoon look? You let me know. I want to see which one you guys think. So we'll pull him out, and we will bring out a much different Grimlock. You guys know I love it. The Fall of Cybertron Planet X Grimlock. So really, there's not a comparison here. He's massive in comparison, close to like maybe a Masterpiece size. This is closer to a Legends class size, and details are not even going to be remotely close. So just wanted to have this look of all these Grimlocks here. And yeah, there we have all three together. Obviously, just kind of scaling up in size, but obviously a main difference between this, and this guy has blue eyes. These guys have red eyes. Now there is a way you can swap out, once you have the repro labels, you can put blue or red eyes on this guy, which I'll do one day. But we'll talk about that when we get to that review. Let's take a closer look at the DX9 offering here. So we already looked at a lot of the main details and paintwork and stuff like that. Let's go ahead and take a look at articulation, because he does have some in Dino mode. The legs do rotate. You can go pretty much all the way around, though you're going to run into some resistance round about there. As for knees, not so much, because his legs bend the wrong way. That's kind of a weird, I don't know, maybe it's just a miss. Like they could have made it go both ways realistically, but because they needed to keep the claws and talons going the right direction, it was kind of a thing. So that works, but he does actually have that articulation. He can also spread his legs out a little bit like that. His arms do move, just ball and socket right there. You can even pull him in to where he can kind of hold something like that, or he can be giving us a good high teacher like so. Yeah, that's funny. Even in Dinobot mode, he can give us a high teacher. So it looks really good. It's very tight, so just be careful. Hold them. Don't try to move it by the extremes. Try to hold it where you can really get a good move on. Not really any neck articulation, but his head does move up and down right there, just on a hinge. The mouth does open and close, although it is incredibly tight. Like, I've tried doing this, I don't even know how many times. And it just, that is an enormous amount of effort to have to open that mouth. It's like the tolerance is just too tight. Now you can see in there, he's just got a nice open mouth. Now he does have a hole right there. Like something could plug in there. So maybe in the future we're going to get maybe a fire effect, because that's kind of his canon. So odds are, because that's there, we might get something. Now one thing you'll probably recognize as I'm doing this, if you have the mouth open, only the top of the head moves. Stuff like that. But most of the time he can look straight down, or he can look really high up, more or less like that. And it's just like, yeah. See, without the front teeth, he looks strange. Not gonna lie. It looks like he's just lacking his two front teeth. Looks like me in the 4th grade after I knocked out my front teeth with a basketball. Yeah, that's a thing that happened. And if you're feeling silly, you can just pose him like so in that one silly moment. I believe it was from the movie where he's like sitting down and just blurp, being Grimlock. I like putting down both hands and he's like just mopey. He Grimlock, he king. But that's funny, you could actually recreate that. Now, oddly enough, in this mode, he totally comes with an accessory for his Dino mode. And it is this little helmet. Now, I can't remember exactly what it was called, but I know it basically gave him, like, genius level intellect instead of the brute moron that he is. So it just kind of sets down over the head like so. Maybe I have that wrong. I don't know. Let's try it the other way. Honestly, I don't think they give you a lot of instructions for this. I could be wrong, but like the accessories and stuff, they don't really give you much to go on. But he totally can just set that on his head and just go about his business being a smart Grimlock instead, which is wrong on a lot of levels. But it does look really cute, and it's great that they included that. It looks really cool, and it's a fun looking helmet in and of itself. Now, one other thing, and once again, not in the instructions, you do have a big peg hole right on the back. And with his classic rifle design, you can technically plug this in here. Though I don't know if that's what it's for, or maybe he's supposed to have a rocket pack in the future. I feel like there's accessories coming that aren't here yet. But you could totally do that if you really want to. You might even could plug his little sword in there, like so. If you're feeling a little weird, he can totally do that. Now, just in this mode, I have only a couple small complaints. One is the fitment of that head. That is kind of splitting open a little bit, so the tolerances are a little bit tight. So that's a little bit annoying because his head doesn't need to necessarily be two parts, but I guess it is what it is. The mouth being way too tight also bothers me, and then occasionally I'll have the tail drop down without meaning to. Don't even notice it. It's a little bit loose. And a detail we'll notice a little bit more when it comes to robot mode. Just a little bit of paint mishap right there, a little bit of spillage for the green, and this blue up here is not perfect. And I think you could probably add a little bit of detail right in there. Although, comparing it to the G1, that's actually not terrible. Though, I could probably do a couple small paint apps and stuff like this on this guy if I really want to. But I really do like it. I even like this big red stripe going across there. Now, I'm going to actually pull up a G1 cartoon image over here in comparison, and we can see how close it is. And I think it's actually really, really decently close. So, they did a good job on this one. So, let's go ahead and get him into robot mode. So, where you would normally do for, like, say a G1 style Grimlock, you would grab the tail, flip that out, you'd flip the head back, open these up, and just slap the chest upward. You kind of do those things here, but not really. So, first and foremost, you want to pop the head back, and that is as far back as that's going to go. Like, realistically, that doesn't go anywhere else. You can see it's hitting right there. Now, you have to pull the chest apart, but it is not easy. Now, I actually... crap, don't have my tool with me here. So I'm going to have to make do. If you can get a fingernail in there and just sort of slide it through there. There we go. Now, guys, I'll tell you, straight out of the box, I had the hardest time. It took me about 30 minutes to get him transformed because everything was so stiff. Be patient. Do what you gotta do. Don't use any, like, hard tools or anything to get things open. I actually used my handy-dandy Lego prying tool originally to pop that open to keep from scratching anything. Now, next thing you want to do, straighten out the legs just to get them out of the way. Come back here to this back section and pop it loose. Oh, I was going the wrong way with it. Sorry. So you got these two big posts right there that just tab in like so right there. Now with that out of the way, you want to come over to the top. I always forget how to do this. You got this big double hinged area and just kind of straighten it out to where, like, Grimlock looks like a goose flying, more or less. Now you would come down here. Now you've got a little bit more room to move that back. So grab it by this. You want to flip it out so it's straight up and down. You want to rotate it right in the middle. Make sure you grab right in here, guys, because you try to grab it out here, you're going to put undue stress on that. And that was so tight. No joke, guys. It was moving in like 90-degree increments. It was like, and I thought it was like, maybe it was ratcheted. It was that stupid tight, guys. So before we fold this up to finish up the chest, I'm going to come up here to the head, pull this down. Now you've got this little door back here, and I have not found a good way to do this effectively. So if we'll wait just a second, get your handy dandy tweezers. These are just regular old, model household tweezers. Just get under here, and you see there's a tiny little gap, or you can go over to the side one way or the other. Just pop it up. You don't have to open it like all the way, but just get it out of your way. Now you can see here the back of his head. You can just hook a fingernail under there, raise the head up, close the door, turn his head forward. Make sure the dino head is all the way down. Fold that in. Now we take the chest up. I'm sorry, we take the back up. Tilt the chest forward just a little. You'll see there's a big kind of tab or ridge right here. That's going to go on the other side of the dino head and secure that. Now before we do the legs, we can do the arms. So the arms here just rotate right in here. And you want to grab right there because it's tight and turn it. I mean, it is super tight, guys. Now you want to do the same thing over here. Okay. Now, unlike other versions where the toenails kind of get out of the way, you just leave them in this mode. And you want to come down here to the slider, which honestly is not a good design, and just slide it forward, trying not to scratch all the paint on the legs, which is not easy to do. Also, out of the box, almost impossible to pull forward completely. So we get the hands out like so. Now we come down to the legs, and we just want to split those. Maybe we'll come apart as usual. But instead of the good old folding out of the way gimmick, they go a different direction with this. So go ahead and pop those open like so. Flip-flop the legs like, or the tail out like so. You want to take this and tuck it away. And then, actually, hold on, is that right? Nope. Every time, I do it every time. You want to flip it. So you have to clear this angle, or if you have it like straight out, it might hit. But you want to bring it in and then tilt it forward like so. Make sure that's all the way back. Now we'll do the same thing over here. And you see that's wanting to hit. Tilt it forward and then close it up like so. Grab the leg just above the thighs and rotate. Once again, be careful because they are tight. And there we have Grimlock in robot mode. Now give me a second, I'll clean him up. Alright, now we have Rager in his robot mode and looking very, very G1 accurate and just very, very pretty. Not gonna lie, it was actually a very pretty figure when it comes down to it. Now the one thing that kind of sucks is my light. Maybe I need to lower it down a little bit and catch some of that. There we go, that's a little bit better. I had it set up for a master grade height level there, and yeah, didn't have enough going on. But here, of course, we get the chest. It is all perfect and Grimlock alike. You've got the yellow of the chest, you got the gray smoky plastic, you've got the red torso with a little bit of silver paint happening right there. Good old black thighs, silver legs we have the multicolored paint as usual. We get something really neat down here. You get an ankle tilt. We'll talk about that in articulation, but hey, that's awesome. All the other details are there exactly as they should be, including his little bitty head, like so. And around the back, you have his wings slash armor, whatever you want to call it. I always thought they were always essentially wings, and the fact that they could fly, you know, that helped. You know, so it does look really, really good. Now in robot mode, he does have accessories. We do have his quintessential G1 sword done in translucent plastic with some very nice molded details. You got some ribbing here. You've got some other nice tight molded details right there. I do wish this was the handle was painted black. I'll probably end up doing that myself because this thing already has a problem. So I'm probably going to end up having to modify it a little bit. So if we come over here, usually he's left-handed with his sword. The hands are super tiny, but you take the little handle and you jam it in there, and you can see already that's a problem. But the actual images show you inserting that in his hand. Now that's about as far as you can get it without anything bad happening, and it does give it kind of a tilted forward sword look, which is fine. But realistically, if I were to come in here and just trim up one side of that, I bet I can get that in there. And odds are I'm going to do that. I'll trim off at least one, probably just one side, and then paint that all a nice black. But if you want to go with like an old school style, maybe even Power Ranger style, where he can hold the sword this way, which is not useful as a sword, but that's pretty much all he can do with it. It's a very pointy shield is what it is. Now we saw it already, but here is his very, very quintessential G1 style blaster, and I don't know if it's got some kind of flashing or something here where it's almost got some clear coat on part of it but not the rest, or maybe it's just mold release gunk on there and some nubs, but hey, it is what it is. Might also come in and do some tiny details like some silver just right there, just because, and I don't know how I cut my finger. Weird. I was just doing dishes. Maybe I did it that way. But he can totally hold that just as easy. Now, my main concern is that the hands do seem just a little bit small. I'd probably make them bigger if it was me, if I designed this thing. And you have his final accessory, his crown, which is actually done pretty cool. I like that they with the yellow aesthetic instead of gold. I really do dig that because it was yellow in the original thing. Now it is molded. You got some, this is the back. You got a little bit of a V right there to make sure you know. It is cut out to go around his head. Now this thing fits his head in a very, very tight manner. So you can see it lines up around his ears, and you just kind of have to cram it on realistically. And it is incredibly pointy. So they made it hard to go on and made it incredibly pointy. So guys, be super careful when you're doing this, okay? But there you have Grimlock. He is king with the crown that's a little too big, honestly, I think, for his head. So maybe that should be different. I don't know. I almost would have been okay with a swappable head with a crown, honestly, because it's not like you can put it away like that. So it's actually pretty neat. I do like it. I like the fact they included it, because Grimlock only has so many accessories for himself. So I like that pretty much every version of Grimlock does come with a crown. With accessories out of the way, let's go ahead and take a look at his articulation, because he has some. Not a lot, but he's got some. For a Legends size figure, for the most part, he's pretty good. Head is, I think it's just a swivel. I don't think it's a ball joint. Probably just a mushroom cap, but he does have a minor hinge there, so he can look forward, he can look up. That's pretty much it. And you do get some nice metallic blue paint on the eyes, although hard to see most of the time, because you're looking at it straight on, it looks like it's all black. If it had been red paint, you probably could see it really good, but there's always that debate. Did Grimlock supposed to have red eyes or blue eyes? Because it was shown several different ways. The modern interpretation always has red eyes now, so I like that they went with the blue on there. That actually looks pretty good, and it is a very G1 Grimlock style head. Now if you come down to the shoulders, you do have this nice thing, comes all the way out like so. That looks pretty good. And it does rotate just as it did before, but of course now the wings are in the way, but it don't matter. And he can technically do a high teacher like this, but you can't rotate it, so it is what it is. The elbows are just single jointed like so, and get 90 degrees, well, roughly 90 degrees out of it. And no wrist articulation, nothing like that. That would have been pretty impressive. I'm not gonna lie, it would have been cool if they could have engineered very tiny wrist articulation. You have no center mass articulation at all, because the backpack and all this is locked in place. It would rotate right through here, but that's just not how it's engineered. So if this wasn't connected, if all of this was connected up here where like it used to be back in the day, would have been another story. So you come down to the hips, since that's our only other thing we could do, and he could do a perfect Jean-Claude like that. He can also go the other way. That looks like it hurts. He does have the thigh swivel, as he should, mostly for transformation, but hey, it's there. You could go all the way around, but once again, why would you? Knee is a single jointed unit. You can go about 90 degrees, like so. You don't really need a ton of knees going on through there. What do you need that for? What do you need the need for? And of course, if you really want to, you can get a little bit of tilt outward of the legs, like so. You definitely don't need to do this, but you can. So the nice thing about it is the inclusion of these ankle tilts that I mentioned earlier. I like that they did this, so you can get him in a nice dynamic wide stance and his feet are still flat. Now if they had waist articulation to really make use of that, it'd be great. I was like, or even it'd be great if they had some kind of toe point, but they don't. So it is what it is. He gets a little awkward, and hey, he might even be able to do a pee-pee dance. Can you do a pee-pee dance if I turn the legs in just a little, like so? Yep, Grimlock's got a pee. So it is what it is. Jeez. And now for robot mode comparisons. There he is with G1 Grimlock, who is of course a mess. He's always going to be a mess. And I like that they found a way to engineer the head to be as far forward as possible on this guy, but you can also see, you know, you've got the similarities in the head molding. Of course, red eyes on this guy, blue eyes on this guy, because it is what it is. We'll be getting the repro labels if and when. I'm sure those will be coming along shortly, though I don't know where they'll put the Autobot logo on him, because this part's not smooth, but still, whoop, that's where they put it on this one. So I'm sure they'll do some G1 toy-esque stickers. I guess realistically you get bicep swivel. I totally left that out, guys. My bad. Versus this thing, which you've got no arm articulation whatsoever. And also the fact that you completely eliminate the Dinobot head off the back. This is actually screen accurate. So I mean, just real quick, pull that up, you know, that's what he looked like. It's pretty cool. I mean, they did a very good job making it look like the original Dinobot. Now I always forget if these are supposed to be up or down. I kind of like them down, though if they're up, it doesn't look too terrible, I don't think. Just make sure it's compact enough. So I mean, that's pretty good. And then once again, bring up the debate in robot mode. Which one is your G1? Is this G1 because it's G1 toy, or is this one G1 because it's G1 cartoon? Let me know in the comments down below, and I'll probably put up a poll just for fun on the Shoky page. If you haven't seen the one I did already, I'll probably go ahead and do this. Let me get a picture. There we go. But one more comparison to go. Of course, we have Fall of Cybertron. Big old Grimmy. Grimmy. Not even close. So he can ride on him, realistically. And don't think I won't do that for some fun shots at the end. Definitely got to do things like that. So that's actually pretty cool. And of course, just for giggles, there's the differences in their swords. Yeah. That's impressive. Hey guys, just real quick before we get to the end here. When you're transforming him back into Dino mode, it's very kind of difficult to get the robot head back in here because you can't get a thumbnail or anything underneath that flap. So they thought about that and they put a little bit of a gap opening right through there. Now in my case, I just grab my tweezers and I push open the flap, like right through here. Just push that open. Now I've tried using the sword, but I don't want to break that because it is, you know, flimsy little plastic. Now what you do is you got to rotate the head around or that will not close. You just slap it back in there and close it. Now one thing I didn't necessarily criticize before, but the plastic for this is not the same yellow as that. You can see it round about there. But yeah, that's one of the harder things to do when transforming back to Dino mode. I don't normally, you know, talk about the stuff when I'm going one way to the other, but in this case, it does matter. Of course, wouldn't be complete without all three of them out there at the same time. And there's Wally. So he's still roughly double Wally's height. Wally, I know he looks different. Ah, dang it. He knocked over G1 Grimlock. But G1 Grimlock never wants to stand up straight, so it's okay. Got a little bit of tilt there. So we get away from the back heavy nature. So, hold on. Grimlock, say hi. Dang it. That's just going to keep happening. So, say hi to Wally, Grimlock. Come on. Just bend a knee or something. You know, kneel down. There we go. Stupid G1. So that's pretty awesome, guys. But yeah, I definitely recommend this guy. I picked it up at Big Bad Toy Store. All of them are about $35, $36 roundabout. Of course, you get it all nice and shipped. Altogether, I definitely suggest doing Pile of Loot because that way you kind of secure them and then you end up shipping them all together, even if they don't all come in at the same time or if you're just holding on to them so you can buy them at a later date. I really do like that. So Big Bad Toy Store is pretty awesome, of course, for all third-party kind of stuff, including this big boy back here. If you guys like this, make sure you give me a thumbs up and subscribe if you are new here. Of course, I do all these fun, nerdy things, Transformers, Gundams, and the like. And, of course, as always, I want to thank my patrons, Steve, Andy, John. You guys are great. We did the 1,000 subscriber giveaway not that long ago. That went off really, really well. I appreciate all the winners. You guys are awesome. guys, I will catch you next time. And remember, as always, he Grimlock King.